Okay, students, on this clip, we're going to be going over two examples on how to graph ellipses. We're going to be focusing on the standard form this time, okay? So let's go ahead and write down the instruction for the notes. So the instructions are as follows. For the given equation of ellipses, find the center, direction of axis, and the C of the foci. Sketch the graph sketch the graph of the resulting ellipse and label the major and minor axis, and vertices, the foci, and center. Okay. After doing all this, so state the domain and range. Okay, state the domain and range of your graph. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. So for question number 1, we're going to be dealing with the function. All right. So we're going to be graphing the equation x plus 2 squared divided by 1 plus y minus 3 squared divided by 4 equals 1. Okay, so the first thing we want to do before we start graphing, we need to find the center. So to find the center, for the x-coordinate of the center, you take the opposite of the number next to the x, which is -2, and then for the y-coordinate of the center, you take the opposite of the number next to the y, which is 3. Okay. Next, we need the direction of axis. The major and the minor. So we just take the square root of the denominators. Okay, the square root of 1 gives me 1. Since I got 1 from the x-axis, or from under the x-axis goes horizontal in the horizontal direction, the y-axis goes in the vertical direction. So since this is derived from the bottom of the x-axis, this axis has to go in that direction. So this has to go side to side. Okay, and square root of we need the square root of 4, which is 2, and this is I got the 4 from under the y, so this axis is going to go up and down. So this is your vertical axis, there goes your horizontal axis. Now we need to distinguish which is major or minor. The smaller one is the minor axis. Since this is smaller, this will be the minor axis. Yet since this is bigger, this will be your major axis. Okay. All right. Now we need to find the C of the foci. So to find the C of the foci, we're just going to take the square root of the difference of the denominators. All right, the square root of 4 minus 1. You subtract the bigger one from the smaller one. We're using a minus here because we have a plus here. Okay, so this is basically what C is equal to. All right, so C is going to be equal to the square root of 3. Okay, the square root of 3 is approximately, if you do that in your calculator, 1.73. Now the question is, what direction should your foci go? It always goes in the direction of the major axis, okay? So since the major axis was up and down, the C of the foci is going to follow that direction, and it's going to go up and down also. All right? Now we have all the information we need to generate the graph of our ellipse. Now we want to plan so that we don't we allocate sufficient space to our graph. Notice that the center requires you to move 2 units to the left and 3 units up. Okay, so we're going to have it's going to be centered at quadrant 2. So we're going to make quadrant 2 sufficiently large to compensate for the graph. Okay, so make your x-axis somewhat low and shift your y-axis to the right so that we have a big quadrant 2. All right. Now, first thing we want to do to generate our graph is to graph the center. All right, so the center is 2, negative 2, 3. So go 1, 2, negative 2, and go up 1, 2, 3. So there goes your center. Okay. Now we're going to use the direction of the axis to graph the 4 key points. All right. So we're going to go 1 unit side to side, 1 to the right, and 1 to the left, and then 2 units up and down, 1, 2, and go down 1, 2. All right. So there goes your ellipse. We'll just connect the dots, and that will be the graph of our ellipse. This, that, this, and then like that. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna start labeling it. The shorter axis, that axis is known as your minor axis. Okay. So this is your minor axis. Minor axis. And how long is it? It is double this. Since you're going 1 to the left and 1 to the right, you double the direction, and then that's going to give us 2. Okay, so go 1, 2, that's your minor axis. The other axis, the longer one, is the major axis because it's longer. That goes your major axis. Let's go ahead and label that one also. So this one is your major axis. And your major axis is 4 units long because you went 2 up and 2 down. So that's 4. Okay, now what we're going to do next, we're going to go ahead and find our foci. Okay, write that properly. Major axis is 4. Our foci is 1.7 up and down, so we just go 1 and then close to 2. That's the first one, and then 1 and then close to 2. So over here, there's F1, first foci, and this second point is F2. Okay, how do I know to go up and down? Well, you always go in the direction of the major axis. We already established that over here. Okay. Now, on the top here, this is the major vertex. It's a major vertex. Okay, because it lies at the end of the major axis. And this down here too is also a major vertex. Major vertex. Now, this point over here is a minor vertex. Okay, minor vertex. And then this other point right here is your second minor vertex. Minor vertex. And then last but not the least is the center. So there goes your center. Okay? Now to finish this off, we're going to state the domain and the range. The domain is basically the horizontal span of your graph. So if I trace this down here to here, you notice I'm going from 1, 2, 3, from -3 all the way to -1. So my domain along the x-axis is from -3 is less than or equal to x, and that's less than or equal to -1. Okay? And then my range, you project to your y-axis. How high can you go and how low can you go? You go as low as 1 and as high as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as high as 5. So the range of our graph is going to be from 1 all the way to 5. Alright? So there you have it. Alright, let's move along to question number 2. For question 2, we have the function, I'm sorry, not a function, we have the relation or conic section y minus 3 squared over 25 plus x plus 4 squared over 9 equals 1. Okay, so the question is, how do we graph this? So we need to find the key information to generate the graph first. First is the center. So we take the opposite of the number next to the x for the x coordinate, -4, and then the opposite of the number next to the y for the y coordinate, 3. Okay, so there goes your center. Next thing we need is the direction of the axis. Okay, so direction of axis So square root of 25 is 5. We just square root the terms in the denominator. Square root of 25 is 5. What direction do you go? Since this was under the y-axis, and we know the y-axis goes up and down, we're going to go 5 units up and down. Okay? And then you root the second denominator under the x, and that's square root of 9, which is 3. What direction does that go? You fold the direction of your axis, x-axis, goes side to side. So we're going to go 3 units side to side. Alright? Now, which is major and which is minor? Since this is bigger, this is the major axis, and this is the minor axis. Alright? Okay, now let's find the C of the foci. C of the foci, C is what you do when you take the square root of the difference. We're subtracting because there's a plus. You always do the opposite of the sign here, okay? Square root of 25 minus 9, which equals the square root of 16, and that equals 4. Now, what direction does the C of the foci go? It goes in the direction of the major axis. So the major axis goes up and down, the C of the foci is going to go up and down. Alright? Now I have enough information to draw a graph. Now to make sure we have sufficient space for a graph, we have to consider where the center is. We're going 4 units to the left and 3 units up. So our graph is going to be centered in quadrant 2, shifted significantly to the left 4 units, and then we're going to go 3 units side to side. So to make space for this, we have to shift our y-axis way to the right, and then our x-axis pretty low. Yeah, okay. Alright, so the center is negative 4, 3. Let me label my axis. First, this is my y-axis, and this is my x-axis. So the center is negative 4, 3, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go up 1, 2, 3. So there goes my center. Alright? And then we're going to go 5 units up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the high point. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the low point. And then 3 units side to side. 1, 2, 3 to the right. And then 1, 2, 3 to the left. Okay? So these are the points that define my ellipse. So let's go ahead and connect it as best as we can. Remember, this is just a sketch. Okay, so there goes your ellipse. Now let's go ahead and start labeling our ellipse. This is a smaller axis known as the minor axis. So this is your minor axis. Minor axis. And the length is, since we go 3 units side to side, it's going to have a length of 6. And then the other axis, the longer one, which is vertical in this problem, it's called the major axis because it's longer. So this is your major axis, and this one you're going up and down 5, so it's going to be 10 units long. Okay. All right. Now this point right here, this is one of your vertices. This is a minor vertex. Okay. It's minor vertex because it lies on the minor axis. This one lies on the major axis, so it's going to be a major. It's going to be a major vertex. And then on the top, there also lies your major vertex, because it lies on the major axis. This point right here, this is going to be the other minor vertex. Okay, minor vertex. Okay, now how about the foci? See, of the foci, 4 units up and down. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first foci. And then go up 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the second foci. Okay, so let's call this F1, F1, and this one right here, F2. Okay, so there goes your foci. Now, last but not the least, we're going to label the center. Where's the center? There goes your center right there. Okay, now let's find the domain and the range. The domain is the horizontal span of my graph. So trace it to the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it goes from -7 all the way to -1. So our domain is -7 less than or equal to x, because we're on the x-axis, less than or equal to negative 1. Okay? And then for our range, we're going to be going up and down. So that's the high point right there. And this is the low point. So it goes from negative 2 all the way as high as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From negative 2 all the way to 8. Okay? So our range is going to be negative 2 as less than or equal to y, because we're going along the y-axis this time, and that less than or equal to 8. So there goes your range. Okay? So thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. You can feel free to subscribe to my channel by clicking here. You can also share this video with your friends on Facebook or Twitter. More videos can be found on math.chap.com. Thanks again and have a wonderful day.